All right, guys, take a deep breath. All right, today on the podcast, we are going to be talking about a different way to heal our nervous systems, a different way to stay regulated other than trauma healing. Trauma healing is obviously important. It's very buzzy right now. Everyone's doing trauma work, and it's amazing. We absolutely have to. But today I'm going to approach nervous system regulation and life creation, lifestyle design, and really like optimizing your joy from an entirely new angle. And I'm so excited to share it with you guys today. I want to remind you that we are coming into the final days of enrolling for our Somatic Coaching Certification. This program will turn you into a certified somatic coach. So whether you are a coach, a healer, a practitioner, a leader, or maybe you're just someone who's always in your heart known that you are meant to help people. This is the future of coaching. Somatic healing is where the industry is going. If we want to feel better, we have got to be better feelers. So much of my career was spent doing mindset work for myself and for my clients. And I'm like, why do I still feel stuck? Why, after years and years and years and hours and hours and hours of mindset coaching and like trying to train my brain, am I still feeling stuck? It's because I was only doing 20% of the work. Mindset work is super important. We have to do it, but it is the surface. It is the little bit of the iceberg at the top. It is not the entire kahuna. I haven't used that word in a while. That felt really nice. So we have got to get into the body and begin to really shift the energy, the emotionality, the nervous system from the inside out. And this creates not only sustainable change, but it creates very quick change, right? We cannot keep forcing, hustling, pushing, and expecting ourselves to grow and learn. We cannot override our primal body. We have to get with our primal body and figure out what is going on at a cellular level for me to stay stuck in this place. And how can I unearth it and heal it and move through it so I can set myself free and set my clients free. So if you are desiring to take your coaching to the next level, to take your career to the next level, to take your clients to the next level, do not miss this. Do not sleep on this opportunity. We only open this once a year. You can head on over to pausebreathwork.com/somatic. That's pausebreathwork.com/somatic. And I hope to see you inside.
Can't be contained.
That's what I'm talking about. I remember when I was living in London, England, I remember this exact moment. I was walking on the cobblestone streets wearing my wellies and a raincoat, and I honestly was feeling dead inside. It was that feeling of like, I'm just fine. You know, my energy body was just like I'm just like fine. I felt like I was in survival mode. I wasn't thriving. I wasn't like, oh, this feels amazing. I was just like, okay, we're going on our day to day, right? I'm waking up. I'm walking to the train station. I'm going to this job that I hated. It taught me so much. That's a podcast for another day, but I hated it. And I remember as I was leaving work that day, I was managing a hair salon. It's such a weird thing. It's like the only real job I've ever had other than waitressing. I don't even know if that's a real job, but you know, because I just had fun waitressing. But anyways, I digress. I was managing one of the most prestigious hair salons in London, England. It was called Michael Van Clark. Shout out to anyone who's listening. And I remember leaving and I'm like, God, I just feel so dead. I remembered what feeling alive felt like. Like I viscerally was like, I remember when I felt so alive. It was when I was traveling 33 countries in 4 years, mostly in a backpack. I had such little connection to technology. Every freaking day felt like a new adventure. It just felt like, oh my gosh, there's so much to see. There's so much to do. There's like, this is so incredible. I was in a different city every time. I was by myself. So there was like this wave of just like, it was like so exciting and like a little bit scary. And like, I was just freaking alive. I lived so happily for about $30 a day. And I couldn't have been happier during those times. And then fast forward, there I was, completely numb, feeling broken. And I felt like I was doing all the right things, but felt numb. I felt disconnected. And that's when I realized that aliveness is actually an inside job. And that feeling of aliveness is what I desperately wanted more than anything else. I'm like, I will give up everything else if I can reclaim the feeling of aliveness. And so I remember as I was walking down the street that one day on my way home. I was like, can I feel that aliveness without throwing myself back in that timeline? That was my question. And so I spent the next 10 years of my life on a conquest to quench that thirst for aliveness. And along the way, I made some discoveries, and I'm going to share them with you guys today on the show. So the word aliveness for me, if we're to let's just get on the same page with what this means. It's when your maximum life force is running through you with zero obstruction. It's just bliss, right? I want you to stop for a second, really just feel that. When your maximum life force is running through you with zero obstruction, when you're at your full aliveness, your mind is clear, your anxiety is gone, your nervous system is regulated, your creativity is ignited, and your confidence is potent. And it doesn't matter what is happening in your external world because you turn this aliveness on. And what if you could have this feeling not only once in a while, when the planets line up or a Mercury retrograde is not in the microwave, but what if you could do this moment by moment, breath by breath? Because 99% of the population doesn't. What if you knew how to activate your aliveness on demand? So I want to teach you something that I call the aliveness quadrant. So think of these as just think of, if you have a piece of paper or pen beside you, just think of it as like four corners, right? And think of these containers. They can be anywhere from empty to overflowing. And the containers are physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, right? Maximum aliveness is when they're all overflowing, okay? Well, what about when they're empty? That's basically when you're dead, right? So the idea here is, how can we have them at max capacity always? Physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. Okay. If they're half full, by the way, that's my cobblestone moment in London. I'm good. Everything's fine. Right? That's just called normal. It's normal. It's fine. Right? People are normalizing feeling numb. You guys, it's crazy. We have to stop doing that. Okay. So let's talk about physical for a second. The average person is only operating at 30% lung capacity. So technically what that's called is tired as fuck all the time. Your mitochondria, right? So the energy factories in your body need oxygen to function well. And what happens when your body does not get enough oxygen? Brain fog and burnout, which I talked about last week. If you have burnout, go listen to last week's episode. Do you know what else happens? And even worse, not getting enough oxygen into your body makes aging speed up, right? It's so funny with my mom. My mom's she'll do the health stuff if she knows it's going to make her more pretty or young. So whatever it is, I'm like, Mom, you should do this. It'll make you younger. But truly, when we add more breath into the body, we are actually delaying aging. Okay. So I learned about the word lethargic in Sunday school when I was probably about 12, right? Someone said it and I was like, that's a cool word. What does that mean? And it was my Sunday school teacher, Miss Grace. And she's like, it's when someone feels like the life is sucked out of them. And so my 12-year-old brain then imagined what someone with the life sucked out of them would look like. And I was like, oh, they would be dead, right? But when we look around today, most people are lethargic. Most people are barely breathing. And a lack of oxygen in the body is an example of how we can increase that physical quadrant, right? Okay, let's talk about the emotional quadrant. Think about the last time you were stuck emotionally, right? And you feel like you could not make it through the day. Maybe it's that breakup. Breakups have the ability to do this, right? Just make us feel like we're going to die, right? The emotional stuckness just robs you of your aliveness, right? So when we use the breath and we allow that emotional quadrant to be increased, we have perspective and perception. This is a big thing with emotionality. If you're an incredibly emotional person and you think that everything's overwhelming constantly, we have to increase that quadrant. We have to add more energy, add more resource into our emotional quadrant so that we have perspective. Okay. So when our emotional quadrant is depleted and we look out into the world, everything feels intense. Everything feels so much. And what the body does in that moment is it goes into a collapse. It actually collapses in on itself. And when the body collapses in on itself, we feel depleted, lethargic, low energy, we're moody, we're overwhelmed, we're exhausted, we're burnt out, all of the things. And so we have to activate our aliveness emotionally so that we have more perception over our life. Okay. It's how do we make a mountain look like a piece of sand? We have to breathe and get above the mountain, or else it will feel like the mountain is destroying us. Okay. Let's move on to the mental quadrant. Have you ever been in the grips of fearful thinking? You're doing well in your business, but you're just bogged down by imposter syndrome. So you're not really enjoying any of your success, right? That mental stickiness robs you of your aliveness. Now, what happens when we do breath, when we allow ourselves to have perception, we're actually creating spaciousness from our mental thoughts, right? So the thought that's like, you're not good enough, you suck, you've got no friends, you don't belong. I don't know why I just turned that into a song, but whatever your mind says, right? When we allow ourselves to get into our body, activate the power of our breath, we mitigate the response of the amygdala, okay, which is the center of our emotional control. And when we do that, we have a different perception. Okay. So we go from thinking that our thoughts are us to going, that's an interesting thought. I'm not going to take that on. And what that does is it slowly over time increases that mental quadrant. Yeah. All right. Let's go into spiritual. What does it look and feel like for you when your spiritual bucket is empty? I know for me, I feel human AF. I'm like, man, I'm so human. I don't even know if God knows that I'm here on this planet. I don't even know if energy's real. Like I start to get like very like, for a minute. And then I'm like, nah, fuck that. Right? When we allow ourselves to do breath work, it connects us back into our spirituality, right? You might be eating well, happy at your life, mentally sharp, but there's still something missing. It's that spiritual juju, that indescribable, mysterious feeling, right? That feeling like you're connected to your higher power. And when this bucket is low, you're not feeling like a spiritual gangsta. You're feeling like a aura amputee. Like, I don't have an aura. I feel so muted. We could go on and on about the blocks of feeling alive, but the point is for you to really think about how your life, like what is happening in your life that is blocking your aliveness, and more importantly, what that is costing you. What if these various energy reducers lowered your aliveness by like 1%? I want you to really take inventory of your life and go through mental, emotional, spiritual, physical, and figure out where am I being depleted by either my behaviors, my thoughts, other people's behaviors, and how can I clean that up so that I can reclaim my aliveness, reclaim my joy. Even a 1% increase in each of the buckets, you guys, is going to have a gigantic payoff. Remember the definition we have of aliveness: when your maximum life force is running through you with zero obstruction. So ask yourself, where are my obstructions and how can I remove them? And I just want to normalize something. The struggle to remove obstructions to your aliveness, oh, it's so real. I'm saying it like it's like, yeah, just remove all the obstructions and then you're going to be fine. And I just want to normalize like it takes work. It takes work. And I am constantly looking, like every Sunday I do something called life inventory where I just look at my week. This was a practice that I learned from one of my best friends, Jen Hootie. And I just look back on my week and I'm like, where can I improve, you know? And so I'm like, oh, wow, this thought is blocking my aliveness. This thought of you're going to fail this, or this is all going to fall apart, whatever it is. Oh, that's blocking my aliveness. Okay, let me train that this week, that whenever that thought comes into my mind, I'm restructuring it. I'm reframing. I like to say, I'm rebranding it. The struggle is real, but it's worth it. And you have full capacity to be able to do this. I'm not saying breathwork is the cure-all for all of these things, but if we look at the science, breathwork is incredibly supportive for all four areas of the quadrant: physical, emotional, spiritual, and mental. It's in the science, right? Your breath is the fastest tool to regulate your nervous system. Research shows that slow, deep breathing activates the vagus nerve, shifting you into a state of calm and vitality. Yeah, diaphragmatic breathing increases oxygen by 20%, which means more energy, more resilience. Right? It was so funny. So many of my friends are like biohackers and have like very complicated pathways to health and mental health and all these sorts of things. Like they're all into like the nifty tools. I was just on a snowboard trip with some of them and I'm like, what are you sticking in your mouth? What are you sticking up your butt? I'm just kidding. They weren't sticking things up their butt. That'd be funny though. But anyway, one of my friends was like such in deep thought and she's like, Felicia, if you're listening to this, I love you so much. This was the highlight of my life. She's like, I just need to find a way to like get more oxygen into my body. And I'm like, breathing? It was like the most obvious thing. I'm like, dude, the quality of your breath equals the quality of your life, right? Stress breathing, shallow fast in the chest, it's going to make you feel anxious. Alive breathing, deep, slow, full body expansion allows you to have more oxygen into your body, leading to clarity, aliveness, regulation. Breathwork increases gamma waves, so it's the same brain state as elite athletes and monks, right? Flow state is that like effortless action, creativity, and confidence. So breathing more, allowing yourself to regulate your nervous system, increasing the quadrants of this aliveness quadrant. This is going to be so advantageous. And just do one little thing a week, my loves. Like, we don't have to, what's that saying? We don't have to eat the elephant in one bite. Just go one thing at a time, one little thing at a time. What's something you can remove? What's blocking your aliveness? And this is going to set you free. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode. Remember, we are days away from closing the doors to the Somatic Coaching Certification. This is your one chance this year to get in. If you have not applied, get your booty in action. Apply to become a certified somatic coach so you can take yourself deeper, you can take your clients deeper, and you can build a career that lights you up. And don't forget, during this launch as well, we are also throwing in our Pause Business Accelerator, which is $5,000. We are giving that to you for free when you join in this round. I hope to see you inside. Head on over to pausebreathwork.com/somatic. All right, guys, we'll see you later.